they only ever get bigger. Mission creep. It is ostensibly to protect you from COVID today, but what it will morph into tomorrow. What other freedoms will you lose? Will you be forced to take other vaccines? I want to make myself clear that I am not, and the Atlantica Party is not anti-vaccine. We are pro-choice. Each individual has a fundamental right to informed consent for any medical procedure or intervention. And this is why the vaccine passport is such a dire threat to our freedoms. It is an attempt at an end run around the principle of informed consent and an attempt to coerce people into medical procedures without informed consent. These are portions of the population that cannot be vaccinated for a variety of medical reasons. There are also a few people that don't want this vaccination. Are we going to exclude these people from society? I think that's a dangerous road to go down. The Liberals and the Greens support the vaccine passport. The PC and the NDP say they'll follow Dr. Strang. However, Dr. Strang has already shown that he is willing to violate your fundamental rights. Only the Atlantica Party registered in this election opposes a vaccine passport publicly. We support your fundamental right, your fundamental human right to informed consent, and we don't believe that you should give up your medical history and privacy in order to participate in society. While I am not able to be here in person, I thank all of you that have taken the time to help send a message that our freedoms are not for sale. Thank you. Okay, so that was, I didn't expect I had to do that, but it's all good. So now I'll go on with myself. As I said, I'm Gordon Berry, and I'm Nova Scotia born and bred. I'm a lifelong resident of the Annapolis Valley, and I'm the candidate of the Atlantica Party for the riding of Hants West. As we were all recently rocked by the Premier appointed, not elected, Ian Rankin, regarding this so-called Scotia Pass, which he also chose to announce mid-election, which is not a fair thing to do given that this would have no doubt affected the choices of those that have already voted. This is what brought us together today, so perhaps that is a small blessing. Under this obvious dictatorial announcement, now before I go on, let's give thanks to Chelsea for organizing this event and bringing us all together. Thank you, Chelsea. So as I said, my intentions are not to override this gathering of freedom fighters to attempt to turn this into a political event, nor is it to judge or attack anyone that chooses to wear a mask or have chosen to get the shot. You see, I believe part of the agenda here is to create a deeper divide between Nova Scotians based on their own personal choices, which is the inherent right of all of us as we still live and are fighting to remain living in a free, democratic society. I will, however, make a few political statements. So, now speaking for myself, aside from my political affiliations, I will say this. I do not wear masks ever. I will not wear masks. This is my right as an individual, and I choose to utilize it. I have not, nor will I ever, under any circumstances, take the shot. However, I am not against those who chose otherwise, as although I may not agree with their personal decision, it is not my right to decide for them. And to live in a free society, these rights and personal choices must be respected by all, providing one's personal choice does not bring harm to another. So now to the meat of the issue. Firstly, I've been following this narrative and game plan from the very beginning, spending hours doing research, which has offered me the insight to see it a few steps ahead of the president. So let's start with the mask. I believe that it was merely a step taken to test the people to see how many would comply. Then when those numbers looked good, they brought in the shot, having a pretty good idea how many would take it. And now we're at this, the Scotia Pass. This pass serves absolutely zero purpose in protecting the health of anyone, as many are now aware. This shot does not prevent anyone from catching COVID, nor does it prevent anyone from transmitting COVID to another. These are undeniable facts. I've heard this with my own ears from someone from the Nova Scotia Health Authority, with the only caveat being that the shot may lessen your symptoms. So when Mr. Rankin stated that this would allow us to open up and boost our economy because people with the shot and this pass will be able to safely attend places such as movies, concerts, and sporting events, that is a bold-faced lie. Then to top it off, Dr. Strang follows up with a letter to parents of school-age children strongly encouraging them to get their children booked for their shot as school is only a few weeks away, with the note at the bottom of the letter that the back-to-school plan is not done yet, and it will be addressed in a couple weeks. This Scotia Pass has no purpose but to control and segregate our society. If we allow this to happen, it will start out at non-essential, as they deem it, places and businesses, but within a few weeks, they will likely include it in our schools, coming after our kids with the shot, which I should mention, the World Health Organization's recommendations are not to give children the shot. So before too long, it will be implemented at essential, as they deem it, places and businesses such as grocery stores and gas stations. It will assist them in pushing this vaccine agenda at all workplaces, or people will lose their jobs. In all likelihood, leading up to something akin to the Chinese social credit system. It is Canadian law to have informed consent. To this point, we have not had that with any of these mask mandates, lockdowns, or vaccinations. The Liberal government is absolutely disgusting, and they must go. They are in direct violation with the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. They are in direct violation with the Nova Scotian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which has been inundated and are overwhelmed with calls. They are also in direct violation of the Nuremberg Code, and any doctors that are party to this are in direct violation of their own Hippocratic oath. We as Nova Scotians, all of us together, must not allow this to happen. But to do so, we must all stand together, masked and unmasked, vaxxed and unvaxxed, business owners and employers, all of us. Now, as we are in the midst of this election, one that I believe is the most crucial one in our history, I say this: we, the Atlantica Party, are the only registered party publicly stating no to the Scotia Pass. We stand against this because we stand for the personal rights and choices of all Nova Scotians. And while we only have 16 candidates on the docket, that's 31% of the seats in the legislature. So me personally, I would rather have a third of the legislature standing up and fighting for our rights rather than none. A vote for any others who either back this pass or won't state publicly, one way or another, which leads one to believe they will back it. Once that vote for them is cast, you have signed away your rights to individual choice. So in respect to what I said earlier, I am not trying to turn this into a political event. I'd be happy to share any info with anyone regarding our party, and if you would like so, we can chat after, or you can get in touch with me. So, I'm going to give you a quote from Martin Luther King. Freedom is never given voluntarily by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. So we must demand it, for it will not be given freely. My rights are not for sale. Say it with me. My rights are not for sale. My rights are not for sale. So thank you all for your time. Thank you, Chelsea, for organizing this event, allowing me to speak. Much love to you all.